Hello, and welcome to the 2020 Skywarn Spotter Training class, the recorded version from the National Weather Service in Duluth. This training is going to have 5 sections, and in each section there's going to be a code word presented at the end. So if you're taking this training for credit for our office, you're going to need a paper and pen or pencil to write down the 5 code words. Once you've completed all of the training videos, you're going to head to our website, weather.gov/DLH/Skywarn, to complete the spotter registration form. Note that this training is only for Northeast Minnesota and Northwest Wisconsin. Anybody can take it, so if you're not from this part of the country, you are welcome to watch these videos. However, this training is kind of specifically made for this part of the country. Your local office may have their own training, and so I'd recommend you reach out to them, and then I'll have a link in the comments to reach out to your own local office. There's 5 sections to this training, and the first is going to be the introduction. My name is Joe Moore, and I'll be leading you through this training. I'm the warning coordination meteorologist here at the weather office in Duluth. I'm a little new to this position as of a few months ago, but I've worked in the Duluth office for about 6 years. Previous to that, I was working in the Goodland, Kansas office, and also I worked at our headquarters office for a short time, and I'm originally from the Philadelphia area. Our office is a dedicated team of about 20 employees, about 16 of those being meteorologists. We're open 24/7, 365 days a year, and we're one of 122 very similar weather forecast offices across the country. Ours covers Northeast Minnesota, Northwest Wisconsin, and Western Lake Superior. You can see that here on the map. We're surrounded by offices to the west of Grand Forks. To the south of our office is the Twin Cities or the Chanhassen office. To the southeast, we've got the La Crosse, Wisconsin office. The Green Bay office covers northeast Wisconsin. And the Marquette, Michigan office covers much of the UP as well as much of Lake Superior. We produce forecasts, warnings and warnings for the public, as well as specific services for aviation, fire, marine, and transportation sectors. And generally what we do with the Weather Service is we help decision makers with their weather decisions. Whether it's an emergency manager trying to make the call about whether to have people take shelter when a severe storm is approaching a county fair, or if it's just an individual making a decision about whether they should go out for a hike. This is spotter training, so let's first define what is a spotter. So a spotter is somebody who observes the weather, who communicates what they're observing, who stays safe, and plays a critical role in helping the National Weather Service and local officials. A spotter is not an expert at the weather. Training is going to cover some basic meteorology, but we're not going to expect you to be an expert in meteorology. A spotter is not a storm chaser, although almost all storm chasers have gone through this type of spotter training. A spotter is not above the law. A spotter can't go around a police barricade or disobey law enforcement instructions just because they can look at the weather and they're a spotter. You're still have to follow the law, whether you're storm chasing, storm spotting, whatever you're doing. This training does not give you the right to go above the law. And also, you're not immune to the laws of physics. What I mean by that is it's a reminder that you need to be really safe when you're out observing storms. Just because you're a spotter doesn't mean that you can't be hit by hail or you can't be struck by lightning. So play it safe out there. So we're going to talk about warnings later on in this presentation, but the National Weather Service issues these warnings when we have really dangerous storms. So how do we make those warnings? One of those tools that we use is radar. So our radar scans upwards through the atmosphere and gives us a 3-dimensional view into thunderstorms. We can get really cool radar imagery and kind of slice and dice storms to figure out what they're going to do. However, as our radar beam gets further and further away from our office, the height of that radar beam increases due to the curvature of the Earth. This is called overshooting storms, and this happens when we have storms that are out far away from the storm. We just can't see what's going on in the low parts of the storm. Coverage of our radar is typically best closest to the radar location. For Minnesota and northern Wisconsin, the Duluth radar covers much of kind of the area near the Twin Ports up into the Iron Range. But as you get further away, the coverage becomes a little less. And that's not to say that I can't see a thunderstorm that's in Bemidji, or that we're not going to be able to tell if a tornado is impacting Bryce County. But generally in those areas in blue and white, on this map, we just can't see as low into the storms as we would like to. We also use the environment to understand storms. We look at surface weather observations, we launch weather balloons, we look at satellite imagery, and we also use computer models to kind of figure out what are storms going to be capable of today. Is it possible that flash flooding could occur? How are storms going to move? Are they going to merge together, or are they going to stay isolated? And analyzing the environment helps us do that. We also use our education and our experience. Every forecaster goes through 120 plus hours of online training, plus a full week residence course before they can issue warnings. And that photo there is a photo of the radar training class in Norman, Oklahoma that every forecaster has to go through. Each spring, all the forecasters also go through a refresher training. Just like you have to take spotter training every year, our forecasters go through many hours of refresher training to get us up to date on the latest in science, and also kind of run through some weather simulator training so that we can practice issuing warnings before severe storms strike. There's also always at least 2 meteorologists working at the office, and one of those is always going to be a senior forecaster with 5 to 10 or more years of experience. But we're missing one thing. Do you know what it is? We're missing you, spotters. Spotters play a critical role in the National Weather Service because they actually tell us what's happening on the ground. Spotters do this by calling their reports into the office and letting us know. Do they have hail? Did they see a tornado? What are they seeing at the moment? Only you as a spotter can really tell us what impacts a storm is producing. And your reports really matter. Last year, we've got hundreds of reports from spotters. Each dot on this map, each little purple dot is a report that we got into our office. You can see we had over 200 hail reports and 71 reports of wind damage. These reports really help us understand what thunderstorms are doing, and they're even useful year-round. Heavy rain reports and snow reports are really helpful. It's northern Minnesota and northern Wisconsin, so of course we had a lot of snow reports last year. Now we're going to launch a poll, and if you're watching this on YouTube, there should be a little eye icon at the top right, and we want to know, have you ever shared a report with the National Weather Service, either our office or another office? Go ahead and take the poll. And that's it. That's all for Section 1. Your code word for Section 1 is the word welcome. W-E-L-C-O-M-E. Welcome. So make sure you write that down because you're going to need that when you complete all of the training. Now you can head off to the second course, the second section of this course, Section 2, Monitoring the Forecast. Look forward to seeing you there.